Hey there, Data Nation. It's Ryan, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Data Driven Startup. Today, we talk through our very first data set where we submitted a survey of several different domain names for you all to choose which one you thought was best. Of course, like all entrepreneurs and creative startups, we do take some liberties and maybe don't use all of the data that we should to make those decisions. We also talk more about branding on LinkedIn. We go through a few college rivalries, and we even have a surprise guest that joined us for the last few minutes of the podcast. Anyways, I hope you enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, we do need to come up with some better stories to
Sure.
tell.
I mean, I even, like before we start, I think I referenced it during the video, or maybe this is the video coming up. Anyway, we're jumping in uh the YouTube time warp here. But yeah, there was one where it's either the last video we put out or the next one that's about to come out. But it's like I talked some metaphor with the Joint Strike Fighter and
Yeah.
spiral development, and that was before we hit record. And then I like just organically, there was maybe I just forgot about it, but there's never really a chance to like work it back in. So I was
We
like,
need,
oh, that's kind of a shame.
we need to just hit record like right at the beginning. There's
Probably.
these little nuggets I think that people are missing out on, or little like
But then people get like the baby talk. Not we don't baby talk to each other. That would be silly. But
talking about.
talking about your baby,
Yeah,
yes, and me reminiscing about when mine were babies and not
yeah,
just teenagers.
yeah.
Mental health problems of their own.
Oh yeah. Oh, and we could talk about my mental health issues,
Yeah,
which we don't talk about after we hit the record button. There's lots of things to
yeah.
talk about after the record button.
I think we all got mental health issues, really.
Totally. All right. So,
Okay,
um,
just go straight from mental health
Sure.
to LinkedIn survey.
Let's do
We've got the results.
Yeah, you want to share it? I don't know how much more data you're going to have than I would see, but if you want to share your window.
I mean, officially there's 17 hours left, so I don't know. Do we want to just let it? I think we're done. I said it for a week against my better judgment. Usually best to let the LinkedIn survey go for a day or maybe 3 at the most are your options. The week is the long version. So
Were you going to like post a last chance to post your opinion kind of a thing, or?
nah.
All right, let's look at it.
It's been so long since I shared screen. How do I do this? There we go. Screen 2. All right. Are you seeing it?
Yep.
Victory.
Almost 50% of you said you suck at data.com.
But there's a big caveat with that, which pet peeve, random tangent, caveat. Caveat is a noun, not a verb. Okay.
Huh.
All right. Yeah. So when people say I'd like to caveat that, nope, you're doing it wrong. You don't Latin good. Okay. So yeah. So just kind of little, behind the curtain at the great and powerful Oz, if I can be so bold as to describe us that way.
Good.
So we came up with, and I think I listed them all somewhere. We came up with either 8 or 9
Right.
domain names. We actually came up with way more than that, which, by the time this publishes, people have seen that video.
Yeah.
But 8 or 9 that we kind of wrote down, you emailed them to me, went with LinkedIn in its infinite wisdom limits you to 4 options in the poll. So I had the kind of momentary conundrum that I didn't share with you because it was the morning of, and I was like, crap, I got to write this post. And that conundrum was, do I put the 4 that I find most interesting and feasible? Like, I'm actually considering these as domain names. Like these would be my picks. If you said rank 1 through 4 of the ones you think are the best, or do I go for just straight up clickbait? Because polls in LinkedIn tend to have a mind of their own and they just sort of take off like crazy if the options are funny.
Yeah.
Or if at least a couple of the options are funny. And if you put in emojis, which I did. So anyway, I opted for the latter primarily. I do find a couple of these domain names feasible. I personally think we should not choose you suck at data for reasons which are identified quite well in the comments, and that, I kind of thought of originally, which is kind of it's a funny title, but people are pointing out, hey, if you're serious about doing business and making money, joke domain names don't, maybe not your best option.
Right.
So I will defer to the actual marketing professional in the room. But yeah, so I would be inclined to say yes. 47% of the respondents chose yousuckatdata.com. I personally don't think that's our best option.
Can we look at a little bit of the like qualitative, like the feedback in the comments? Because
Sure.
I know there were several people that were like, I voted for you suck at data, but really, I think that we should better to do this one. So
I did list that, and I knew we weren't going to get anything objective as far as data from this. I did list the kind of next 4 options that didn't make. Data-driven demand generation.com is just too long to put in the in there. I think that would come perilously close to bonking the character count for the options anyway, and then I couldn't put in my funny emojis. And then influencer bros, a couple of people identified, hey, influencer bros is kind of a stale concept. I don't know if that's like something you can pull off, or not a good look, they said. Data brand, Elena, she's sharp, does some good content, good comments. She voted for that one. And then we said, I like influencer bros. So just realized I didn't respond to any of these. Bad on me. Okay. Data domination gets my vote is post positive. That's what everyone wants to do. You suck at data will only draw one market segment. I wouldn't hang my brand or hat on that. Yeah, so it's basically saying, hey, the joke domain name isn't gonna have legs, really.
Yeah. So I think, I would tend to agree with what you said. Like, I think we could probably do something fun with yousuckatmarketing.com, but not hinge our kind of entire branch on that. Interestingly enough, like if you go back up, I did buy several of these domains. I'll share my screen in a minute. But I think I actually like kind of over time sort of like the databrand.co one in particular, because of the sort of connotation of like, it's like data and branding, which is like, your book, the ebook that you're developing is kind of around branding. And then there's also data brand marketing in your databrand.com. And I almost wonder if databrand.co being a little bit shorter, let's talk about it for a sec, because let me hold off my opinions. What's your favorite domain of the ones that we put out there?
I like databrandmarketing.com and yourdatabrand.com. I know a lot of people, I don't know if people just didn't like data brand marketing because I think it got such a low score because I don't think I communicated well how it relates to marketing. And I don't think my LinkedIn community doesn't associate me strongly with marketing. I've started to do more marketing oriented content, but it's just not, people don't see me as a marketer, which I'm not. And so I haven't done enough content oriented strongly towards marketing analytics. And my community tends to be a bit bimodal. One is the veteran and veteran transition community, and then the other mode is data analytics in general. So the super fans of the old podcast, and freshers, people pivoting, and that sort of crowd. but there's nothing marketing focused about that. It's only been very recently that I've started to do content like that. They do know you as a marketeer, but it's not as many people understand the link there between me, you know, fungi, data-driven demand generation,
Right.
And even data-driven demand generation. There's a crowd that's that identifies with that. It wasn't dominated by marketing content. There was a lot of different themes there. So, and the name doesn't scream marketing. So I think there was such a loose connection with that was the only thing where we put the word marketing in it. And so people didn't identify with it. Now, for us to pick the one that got dead last by a mile would be kind of funny and ironic, but
yeah, sort of like you could take the insights that you want, but at the end of the day, and this is like I literally have this conversation on a daily basis with my clients. It's like I can present all the data in the world to you, and at the end of the day, they still are like, well, I'm just going to go with my gut.
Yeah, go with your gut. Yeah. Oh, your gut will never steer you wrong. Like, worst advice ever given. That, and like, follow your dreams, or find a job you love. You'll never work a day in your life. Yeah. Absolutely asinine. Every day is work.
I've been seeing more quotes pop up on LinkedIn lately. Wonder if it's just that time of year, people going back to, it's like we're getting into fall season. It's not like New Year, so it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I've been seeing more.
And if you told me I could get a high-paying job reviewing craft beers and writing about Big Ten football, it would still be work. I'd love it.
Yeah.
But when someone's paying you to write, writing is work. When someone's paying you to write about beer and football, writing is still work. So,
well, and then it's such a it screws you over in the end, because then the thing that you love, this sort of passion, or well, I don't know if I guess every alcoholic's passion is drinking. So, but whatever your passion is, or if you're
I prefer really alcohol aficionado.
Yeah, I like that better. So I can joke because I'm like in recovery. I haven't drank in like 9 years, and I had a problem. But craft beer and in college sports and all of that, like I think if you spend too much time, unless you're like the Barstool guy or like some of those guys who just like do not give a fuck about anything.
It's that, and it's like if you tell me I got to write about the Big Ten and you mean Ohio State and that school up north, I'm good with that. You tell me I got to write about like Indiana and Illinois, like, oh geez, I might need the craft beer to get through writing about the the doormats.
So. Yeah. No offense to all of you, Indiana and Illinois. No, sorry.
There aren't any. There are none. Yeah.
No.
Be as offended as you like, the three of you out there.
I hope somebody comments on this one.
Yeah. The one rabid illness fan out there.
Yeah. So I think that like we kind of uncovered like an important data thing that I'll just talk about in that like our sample size is decidedly skewed because your LinkedIn followers, which is where we conducted the survey,
there's a bunch of knuckleheads who voted for silly ass domain names.
Yeah, well, that, but also just like who they are, right? Like I think maybe data scientists and analysts is like definitely closer probably to the people who are gonna take in our content.
And then remember, not to cut you off, but to cut you off. Yeah. Just remember that, hey, half of my audience is transitioning veterans. They're not marketing people, and I would venture to guess that most of them have never put together a website or started an e-business themselves, have put very little thought into what might be successful. Alyssa Altman, definitely a marketeer, but looking at some of these people are very sharp in the domain, and some of these people are veteran friends and recruiters, and hopefully not blowing up anybody's game here. I'm not showing who you voted for in the last in the primaries the other day, but yeah, and some of these people are knowledgeable about the subject matter, and some of these people are just friends who had said, "Hey, fun poll, and let's vote for something silly." So yeah.
So another benefit to having, so I bought these domains. Let me share my stuff. How do I share?
Do I need to unshare, or can you just grab control?
I think I can grab control. Let me try.
Spin them off.
Undo.
Here, I'll just go ahead and stop sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so to jump on the Wayback Machine and answer the question, I think databrandmarketing.com and yourdatabrand.com and then databrand.co, I think are the most adaptable. They're the most, I mean, we're looking for a big tent. And that encompasses marketing content, marketing analytics, small business, e-business, personal branding. I think those are the sort of big tent maneuverable titles that can encompass all of that.
Yeah, I would
That
agree.
makes
I think I'm personally leaning towards, even though it wasn't in the poll itself, is the databrand.co because it's
Mhm.
short and sweet.
Yeah.
We can also we can redirect all these domains. So if we want to use the domains like for other projects or to like test things out, if we want to like joke with our followers about like, you suck at data.com, like we could take them to, maybe we take them to a page on the databrand.co website that redirects them there. But
So
I
you can use
think
that for
might
like a
be-
specific promotion or
Yeah.
some piece of content. Yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty cool.
And I mean, the other thing is like we have the ability pretty easily to like we can spin off little like landing page sites for these too if we wanted to do some more robust testing down the road.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I guess I would say like let's pick between databrand.co and yourdatabrand.com. I'm trying to remember, in your poll, was yourdatabrand.com, was that the second or third largest?
That was third after data domination. To me, data domination, while it was, it was less clickbaity, but it was just something, I felt like it kind of flowed in the poll options and made it a bit kind of diverse and interesting. To me, data domination implies that, hey, we are data analytics pure.
Yeah.
And it didn't speak to marketing. It didn't speak to brand. That says to me, it's more like what Matt Bratton's doing. It's, like analytics, like teach you how to use Excel and pivot tables and stuff like that. And that's absolutely not anywhere in our plans. So yeah, I feel like that's almost taking people in the wrong direction.
Yeah. All right.
Not to hurt the feelings of any of the 27% out of 260 of you that voted for that option and the little muscly arm.
So do you think it would be worth it to run a follow-up survey with like basically choose either databrand.co or yourdatabrand.com and have them pick from those two? Because I guess part of me is like, I mean, my vote would be databrand.co because I think Databrand, like the name Databrand, kind of sounds good. Oh, I haven't checked to see what databrand.com is. Oh, there's actually a whole. Oh, this is some.
En español.
Sí.
Las empresas tienen problemas.
Databrand. Ayudamos a las empresas a crear un
Empresas is customers, right? Help your customers create a something of prospects, qualified prospects, and integrated strategies of digital marketing. Yeah, you sprinkle enough cognates in there, and even I can recall enough Spanish to fill in most of the gaps.
Yeah. So hopefully this is not a registered trademark. Let's just do a quick trademark search. I doubt that it is, but.
Did we go off on the search engine marketing tangent before? I can't remember if that's something we've discussed.
I don't know. Is it time?
Yeah, so quick lesson, kids. When you Yeah, you're distracted. I'll just talk to the camera. So when you put a search into a search engine, those first 3 to 5 entries that say add next to it. See, I'm teaching the baby things. Those first 3 to 5 entries generally that say add next to them, those are called search engine marketing. Those are not organic search results. Those are companies that have paid the search engine to have their website show up in a competitive bid process at the top of a search when you search for something hopefully relevant to whatever it is they're selling.
Yes.
So if you want organic search results, depending on the quality of the search engine, whichever one you're using, you scroll by all those ones that may say add in tiny, tiny type and get down to the ones that don't say add in any way, shape, or form. Those are your actual organic search results based on the term or words that you put into the search bar.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Most people have realized this by now, but they're still like your grandpa, like when he gets on Google, generally like they're just clicking on the first thing. I think that's how search engine marketers make all of their money. Like old people that don't know how to use search engines.
Well, and sometimes, I mean, we have a lot of clients that are, we do a lot of SEM, we do a lot of paid search for, and it's a good way to validate things. And you just kind of, a lot of people, they want to be top organic and top paid. If you can if you can dominate Google. And part of the issue is like, especially certain industries, like you do a search in Google and like you don't even see an organic search result for like, there's like 15 other businesses listed before.
Yeah, most of the page, if it's
so you have a compelling.
And the thing is, you can't make a garbage website and pay Google $1 zillion to always be the #1 result. Google has a vested business interest in putting quality search results in front of their customers, like whether they're paid or not. So if Google puts trash results up top because a trash website paid them the most money, people will stop using Google because they'll start clicking on websites that stink and don't serve the interests of what they search for, and they'll think that Google's terrible. So it's a combination of how much money you pay Google if you're the business owner and the quality of your website and results and richness of the digital content you have and all of those good things. There's some sort of algorithm that runs 10 million times an hour every time somebody searches something on Google and decides which paid results are going to show up at the top of that page.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and they're constantly trying to make their search results more relevant and all of that. Okay, so I don't see any direct conflicts. There's like this brand data thing, but data brand to me is enough of a difference. And it's also like 2 generic words squished together. So I think we should do a poll. I think we should do a poll, and with a qualifier of saying like, in the comments, because I think like the quantitative, I would just like to know specifically like what, and I'll share, if you put the poll out, I'll share it with my 2,000 or so followers to maybe help getting a little bit more diversified audience. But I want to get an idea for like, do you care about .com versus .co? Which of these domains do you think is a better domain? And then subsequently in the comments, like what, like which is easier to recall? Like, do you think, I guess I'm just kind of curious on that front too.
Yeah.
But by doing that, go ahead.
It's been a week. So just considering, we're delving into the LinkedIn domination end of things now. Right. So this post did pretty well for a poll. I got 11,000 impressions, which is not too bad. 46 reactions. You don't get reactions on a poll usually because people that are just going to click a reaction, they'll click a vote. And when people vote, they tend to not then drop down and click like as well. So I would say this post, 46 reactions on a poll is probably equivalent to 100 or so on a regular post that didn't have a poll. So we got 260 votes, which is pretty good. 46 reactions, 57 comments. So equivalent of a regular post, probably 150 solid reactions. It kicked off some good discussion.
Yeah.
I was not driving the discussion overly much. A lot of times the comment section can be a bit inorganic if the author is having to respond to everything.
Right.
What you want is to drive organic discussion amongst your followers, which we got quite a good response on this, where people were talking to each other. And then the hook was pretty good on this one. It can be tough to write hooks on polls, just because visually the poll is kind of dull. That's why people spruce it up with some emojis or something to make it a little more visually attractive. You can't put a picture on it, which is kind of the red meat of LinkedIn, is, you know, getting some visuals on there. So a picture, a graph, something with some color.
You can't use images with polls.
No.
Yeah.
So that's why kind of using emojis is a nice kind of cheap trick to catch the eye and get people like, oh, what's this, and then they start reading the poll. Can be a little tough because it gives you a few lines of text, and then it gives you the text intro to the poll, and then it gives you the poll options, which are also text. So it's kind of like 3 little layers of script there. So there's some strategy to how you play one off against the other. You've got multiple options to sort of hook the reader there, but they're all text and emoji based options. There's no media. So
yeah.
And then following up with a similar post a week after the first one,
Ill-advised.
to brainstorm some eye-catching or brain-catching script there to see.
Is there? Here's a question for you that you know. I know we don't want to give away too much secret sauce to the audience, because eventually you're gonna have this whole book that describes this. But as far as like, if I were to post something and then you were to share, if I were to post the poll with some emojis, because I post like a couple times a week, and I've really been trying not to do the post and ghost thing, which you called me out on earlier. So I actually
and in addition, so I didn't even call you out on this yet. This is an argument occurring between the data bros or whatever we are in real time, folks. In addition, my post, it was kind of some lazy BS that I pulled, but I actually this morning found multiple posts that I was just like, I gotta comment on this, and yours was one of them, because it was like legit great content and very interesting. That's why I was like, why God, why did he post a ghost on this thing? But you know, I really enjoyed engaging with that. There were a few others that I just saw awesome content in my feed this morning. I was just kind of responding away, and I was like, you know, I don't have anything kind of in the hopper ready to go for today. So my post was basically just, hey, I don't have squat today. My best content today is just my comments on other people's content. And I listed 4 people, including you.
I know, I saw that one too later.
You not only post and ghosted your own post, but then you ghosted your partner's post that referenced yours.
Which is really, yeah, I don't know what's a bigger sin at this point. I fucked up. I'm sorry. Here's a beautiful child to supplement that.
Yeah, and you teach me F-bombs, you degenerate.
But yes, so
it's all right. My kids like to joke that they learned all their salty language from watching Buckeye football with me and driving with their mother. So
wait, are you a Buckeye?
Yeah,
you are a Buckeye.
But I said the school up north earlier. I don't say the M word, man.
The M word.
Yeah.
My I have one brother went to Michigan and one went to Michigan State. So we're not huge.
My funny go-to story on that is I worked with a guy in the Marine Corps that was a Michigan State graduate, and so I've known some rabid school up north fans.
Yeah.
I've noted that there is a vast difference between graduates of the school itself and people from that state who are big blue fans. And it's not favorable to the fans, it's favorable to the graduates. But But this guy was like the most rabid go green, go right dude I've ever met. And his cubicle was like decked out in nothing but Spartan stuff. And he had a t-shirt that he liked to wear on like casual days when we'd have them. And it said, let me see if I say this without screwing it up. It's like, I wear Spartan gear because I went to Michigan State. You wear Michigan gear because you went to Walmart.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's the Michigan M is like one of the most widely worn and licensed sporting team memorabilia or whatever in the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's douchebags
or so I was
everywhere,
told by
so.
a bunch of U of M graduates, but yeah, I have
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
bunch of family and friends that don't have never have maybe been to Ann Arbor twice in their entire life, and they're like
Yeah.
diehard U of M fans, and it's just funny to me.
I did get to go to Ann Arbor when I was briefly working with DARPA, and we went up there for an exhibit with actually it was guys working with Michigan Tech. They weren't even working with the school up north, but yeah, loved Ann Arbor. Went to Zuckerman's or Zingerman's, yeah,
Zingerman's, yeah,
whatever.
place.
But yeah, I have a Zingerman's t-shirt. It says Ann Arbor on it. It doesn't say anything about the school, so
right.
I'm good with it.
Figured.
As a picture of the Reuben and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Zingerman's legit.
Nice. Well, so
All tangents.
obviously I've got a little bit of a distraction here. So I think, so what would you
I'm
think
not that
about?
bad, am I?
No, you're fine. Nice. Do you think it would be better for me to post it and like you to share it? I don't know.
No.
No. Okay. So then I think you post it and I share it. We would just need to figure out a clever way to maybe get a little bit more. I don't think we need entirely like a huge amount of feedback. Like even if we got like 100 responses, that would probably give us enough. Because I think we're kind of like one of these two. I think will be the one we pick.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to brainstorm some stuff to drum up attention, but
I think you started off by saying, so we didn't listen to any of you. And we're gonna go with
we took all of your opinions and threw them away in the round file.
But we want your opinion again.
Yeah.
And this time we will choose based on what you say. And then I think the next evolution or the next step in the process, how do you feel your progress on the product is going? Do you think you're like a few weeks or a few months away?
Yeah, I've got to set a deadline for myself because it's, yeah, I've got to get a plan in place. But yeah, I think 2 weeks would be a pretty good goal. It's going to be the kind of prettying it up and graphics and whatnot that's going to take more time, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I can pull some resources to assist with that side of things.
Yeah.
But if we so once we pick the domain, let's plan to pick the domain within a few. So just do like a 3-day survey or 2-day survey. She's getting upset. And then
I'm like making funny faces at her, like like she's gonna notice.
Do you see Al?
So, want to pick my nose or something? You won't be amused by that yet. Give it a couple years, I'll tell you some fart jokes.
Yeah, you want me to tell you a fart joke? She's looking more at herself on the screen than you.
Well, no kidding. She's better looking than me.
So. So I think like once we've got the domain name, then maybe we could do like a little impromptu, because I forget what was the guy's name who just posted something yesterday about the channel. There's a few folks that have expressed interest in like seeing more like the business processes in addition to just us talking and all that. So I want to make sure we're kind of covering off on that. Like I didn't show me buying the domains, but I think I showed me adding some of them to cart and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So then for like connecting the domain and provisioning, we're going to build a WordPress website and I'll connect the domain to the WordPress website, and we'll install a base theme. I like to use the Divi theme because it's just really easy and intuitive. And then we'll go through the process of like setting up Google Tag Manager and analytics, and then we'll talk about and get like a MailChimp set up for a newsletter. And then I think really we should probably plan to like do a little bit of just some content creation. Like we can put the videos on there, maybe have like a video library, and then write a little bit of content, and then that'll all be kind of leading up to, I think it's going to take you more than 2 weeks to finish this book. Just personal opinion. I mean, unless you've got it like 3/4 done.
It's not that. It's based on probably 75% of it is based on content that I've made before.
Okay.
So yeah, I did a series of videos for a website in India that, it was a lot of the same stuff.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I've got content out there in this same domain.
Yeah.
All over the place, a lot of it on YouTube. So, but it's never been kind of condensed into one place before. And there's a whole lot of, most of the time when I give a talk or I, put a product out there, it's very kind of low level, user friendly. A lot of this is going to kind of get a little more into the weeds,
right,
on specifically LinkedIn practices. So
yeah, that makes sense. Well, okay, sweet. I mean, that's great. So I think, what we'll do is we'll work through. Next week will be a little bit more intense, or maybe we can do like another.
try to wear like a muscle
Still
shirt or
sharing my
something.
screen. I was gonna look at my calendar. We could like do a in between episode of us just like doing the kind of less data centric, more tactical, how to set up a website kind of
Sure.
thing.
Yeah, sounds like a winner.
Do you have some time on like Monday or Tuesday afternoon? We could set something up. I like that we're being kind of raw with this, and that people are appreciating how raw we are with this.
Yeah, guerrilla warfare, man. You got the kid there. My
This is the
middle son
reality.
just walked out, and I'm like waving at him as he leaves. Monday afternoon
are
is
made, folks.
Yeah.
We're
grinding sausage in real time. Monday afternoon is pretty available for me. Tuesdays tend to be bad because I have a large client that demands my time on Tuesdays.
Yes, Tuesdays and Thursdays, it sounds like. Okay, so then let's do Monday at like 2 or 3 p.m.
Okay.
I'll set it for 2 right now. And then I'll go ahead and include in the invite like we're gonna do. So if you put the survey out, then we'll know which domain by Monday, or by Monday we'll know which domain we want to pick from the list.
Yeah, I can post tomorrow morning, 3 days. Yeah, the shouting will all be over by the end of the weekend.
Awesome. Whoa. And then we can sync the domain to the hosting, and we can get the WordPress site set up, and then we'll just kind of start fleshing out some things. We'll get you logins, and we'll just show everybody a little bit of that, for those. I think about like a lot of your transitioning veterans, if they wanted to like have their own portfolio website or something like that, maybe this is a way for them to come up with that concept of like, you got like maybe a personal brand, or maybe you're doing some freelance, or you just want something like that. And if you want to take it a little bit beyond like a Wix website, which has sort of like limited functionality, you could go more the WordPress route with the theme.
Yeah.
So yeah, should be fun. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
Cool, man. Alrighty, I'm gonna go take her.
You got your hands full, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Let's call it a day.
Good catching up with you.
Yeah, man. Talk to you later.